Okay, hi Zach. Today you are going to have a test in math, so you are actually going to do test number 4. But before we do that, I did tell you your score on test number 3, but I don't think that we went over the problems. So here's what we're going to do. You're going to do test number 4, but before you do that, I want you to do all the corrections. So look at your test, turn it over. On the back of it, I wrote all the questions that you got wrong on test number 3. And the good news is there's only 3 of them out of 20 questions, and that is really not a lot. But I would like you to redo these 3 questions that you got wrong before. And I have a little video to help walk you through it. So that is coming to follow. And then once you're done with the video, I want you to go ahead and do the rest of test number 4 for the day, okay? So at least not a long video today with a new lesson, so hope you enjoyed that part of it and have fun doing your math. Love ya. Bye. Okay, hi Zach. So not a new lesson today, but we are going to go over your test number 3 and the corrections that we need to do on that one. I really want you to redo these problems. So write them out on your piece of paper before your next test, before you start test number 4, because I really want to make sure that you understand it, because if I don't explain it correctly, then you will keep making the same mistake, and it's probably something just very simple that you can just fix, and then you'll start doing much, much better on your test. So on test number 3, I think I told you already that you actually only missed 3 problems. And that's not bad, but it was out of 20 questions, so that is a score of 85%. So you got 17 out of 20. And I just want to go over it because even though that's actually very, very good, because these are very complicated questions with multiple parts, but I know that you can do even better than that. So I know I have crazy high expectations, but you are a crazy smart kid, so you can do it. So we're going to go over the first error that was made, and that is on question number 8. I actually love this question. I think it's kind of super fun. So I think you'll love it once you realize what happened here. So the question said, it told you the diameter of a circle is 16 inches. So if I were to draw that, I would draw a circle like this, and I would put a line. Remember, the diameter is not just the radius, but it is a line that goes all the way across and through the center. And that whole line is going to measure, I better write kind of small, 16 inches. Okay, so that's what they give you, all right? So then I'll make that a little bigger. Alrighty, so now it's saying, what is the circumference of the circle? Okay, the first thing that I want you to realize on a question like this is, let's find out what the radius is, even though they didn't ask that. Because this is the diameter, which is 16, so the radius is actually going to be 8 inches. And we're just going to keep that in mind for now, and we're going to move on. And it wants to know, what is the circumference of the circle? And remember that the circumference is, what if we were measuring that circle, like starting here and going all the way around? This distance, as you know, is the circumference of the circle. And it's interesting that we can figure that out, and all they give us is the diameter. Because of the properties of a circle and the number pi, we can figure out the circumference from the diameter. Now there is an equation that helps you to figure it out, and the equation is the circumference is equal to pi times the diameter. Now, I don't remember that question that formula in my head. I don't expect you to remember it in your head. What I do expect you to remember is this joke. Look at this. What do you get when you take a bovine, a cow, right, and divide its circumference by its diameter? So if you take the circumference over the diameter, you get a cow pie. That's the answer to the joke, right? It's a cow pie is the punchline right there, okay? So I think you can remember that joke, and by remembering that joke, you will remember this equation that should be, sort of you should have that in your head. There's a circle cloud around it. It should be dripping off your tongue. Pi is equal to the circumference of a circle divided by its diameter. And that's what you can remember to help you figure out this problem. So pi is equal to the circumference over the diameter. Now here they are asking for the circumference. So we need to solve for this part of the equation. And what do we do to do that? Well, it's easy. We just multiply everything by the diameter. And then what you do is these cancel out and circumference is equal to pi times the diameter. So basically, you didn't have to memorize that previous equation because you can derive it. So that's pretty cool. I love this question. I think it's super fun. So I'm going to take this and move it up a little so we have a little bit more room to work. But the circumference is equal to pi times the diameter. So let's start plugging things in and see if we can figure out the circumference. So the circumference is equal to pi, which is going to be 3.14, times the diameter, which is going to be 16 inches. Okay, so then you just multiply that out, 3.14 times 16. So I'm going to get out my calculator because I don't want to do that in my head late at night. And the circumference is 50.24, and it's going to be in inches because it's a length. Okay, so that is the final answer on that one. That was the correct answer. When I look at what you got 100 inches. So you got twice that, and I'm not sure exactly how you figured that out. You must have doubled the number that they gave you, maybe thinking that it was the radius. I bet that's what you did. But they actually gave you the diameter. You've got to pay attention to that. You know why? Because that is how they trick people on every standardized test for the rest of your life. You're expecting to get a radius and they actually give you the diameter, or vice versa, right? You're expecting to get a diameter, they might give you the radius and you might need to double that. So don't fall for that. Okay, the next part of the question, because this had an 8A and an 8B, and it said, what is the area of the circle? And you could remember that you could remember a formula with area and diameter in it, but I don't remember that. I remember that the area of a circle is equal to pi r squared. And remember at the beginning, we figured out the radius because the diameter was actually 16 inches, so the radius is actually going to be 8 inches. So this is the number that you have to plug into there. And so the area is going to be equal to pi, so it's 3.14. Sorry, my pencil is not exactly working here. And then we're going to multiply that by 8 squared. And so the thing that we square here is we got to do this part first, 8 squared, right? So 8 times 8 is going to be 64. So 3.14 times 64, and then you multiply that out, and I'm going to have to use my calculator for this, and it's 3.14 times 64, and the answer is 200.96. Okay, so that is going to be the final answer there. You got 800, so I don't know, something went wrong, and I'm not sure exactly what went wrong because you did not show your work. So maybe this is a good time to remind you to show your work, because otherwise I don't know exactly where the mistake is happening. Okay. Alrighty, so let's move on to the next correction, which is number 12. So this is what we get for number 12, and it is negative. It's this whole expression. I won't read it out loud because you can see it for yourself. So what we need to do, what I would do if I were solving this, is I would solve what is inside the parentheses first. Okay, so I would add first. So I'm going to copy the rest of it down. Negative 3 times 7, because I just added 5 plus 2 there, minus 2 times 4 minus 2, which is 2. Okay. So then I'm going to multiply that out. So this is going to be 21, but it's negative because of this negative sign there. And then I'm going to do minus 2 times 2 is 4. So negative 21 minus 4 or plus a negative 4 is going to end up being 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. A negative 25. And that is the final answer. Okay, so that's what we should have gotten. Let's see what they got in the book. Yep, it's the answer to 12 is negative 25. You got negative 13 and you did like minus 9 minus 4. So you got this part right, but for some reason you ended up with a 9 for that first term, and I'm not sure how you did that. So maybe look over it and see what happened there. I mean, it's not bad. It's not bad. I think you understand the concept. There was probably just a little math error in there somewhere. But let's go on to number 13. So this is the expression for number 13 that we are asked to simplify. Okay, so let's do it in yellow this time. What I would do first, actually, for this part is I would do this first, because that is like a really confusing thing. Let's get that out of the way. So I'm going to just bring everything else down. 2 minus, and this is actually positive 24 divided by 6. So let's just do the absolute values first. What's 24 divided by 6? It is 4. Okay, and now what's the sign? 24 divided by negative 6, you're going to end up with, the answer would be a negative 4, because you only have one negative and you're doing division. And when you're doing division and you have one negative, that's the answer. So it's actually 2 minus a negative 4. I'm going to simplify that in a moment. I'm going to leave it like that for now. And then we do a minus 7 there at the end. So 2 minus a negative 4 is actually the same as 2 plus 4 minus 7. And now you can do this in your head. So 2 plus 4 is 6. 6 minus 7, and you end up with negative 1. And negative 1 is going to be the final answer. Let me make sure that I got it right with what's in the book. Yep, I got it right. You got negative 5. You did, oh shoot. You did the 2 minus a negative 4 minus 7. So you got to this point, and you did this right. But then you did 2 minus a negative 4, and you simplified that to 2. You just simplified it to 2 when it should be 6. So I'm not sure what happened there. Take a look at it again, and I would like you to work that problem out one more time and get the right answer, which is negative 1. Okay? All right, so that's it. Good job overall. I mean, really, really good job. I know that I'm being hard. But I also know how smart you are. So I just want your score to reflect how smart you are. Okay, so finish up those questions, do them again, and then I'm going to have you do test number 4 today. All right, we're a little behind on your test, so we're going to get caught up this week. All right, love you, Zach. Bye.